Hey guys, welcome to your lesson on finding surface area. So Kelly wants to cover a shoebox with decorative paper, which obviously dinosaur paper is the best, to make a storage box for her photos. How much paper will she need to cover the box? So what she needs to figure out is how much paper is going to cover each side of the box. So covering something, that is actually the area. So what you actually need to find is surface area. So surface area is the sum of the areas of the faces or the surfaces of a three-dimensional figure. So if I go back to this box, I could find the area of each side. So each side of a rectangular prism is a rectangle. So find the area of this, then find the area of this side, find the area of this side and the other three sides that are hidden right now. And I want to add them all up because that's the area of the entire surface or the surface area. Definition's kind of in its name. So in order to do this, I did have you, when you made your rectangular prism, hopefully you still have it, I wanted you to color it a certain way. Here's the picture that I had you coloring it. I wanted you to do that because I'm hoping you noticed when you colored it, the sides that were the same color are actually sides that are identical. So that's what makes a rectangular prism. If you start with your red side, you should have noticed that the bottom of the rectangular prism and the top of the rectangular prism were both red. So that top and the bottom are identical rectangles. So once you know the area of one, you know the area of both of them, which is very, very neat. Same thing goes for if I'm talking about the blue ones. So we have the front of the rectangular prism and the back of the rectangular prism. Those are the blue ones. Those are identical as well. Okay, the front has to match the back in order for it to be a rectangular prism. And then the green ones should be your sides of your rectangular prism. So your sides are actually identical or the same as well. Okay, so we're going to use that information when finding the surface area of these rectangular prisms because we're going to use the net. So here I have an example. So we're going to talk about the bottom first. So if I trace the bottom, which was red, it's right here. Notice the length of the bottom is 10 and the width of the bottom is 8. So that's going to be this rectangle right here. So that is going to be the bottom, but I also know that the bottom is exactly the same as the top. So this is the top right here. I know that this is 10 inches by 8 inches as well because they must be identical. So area of a rectangle. I'm hoping by now you know area of a rectangle is length times the width. So in this case, area is 10 times 8. So the area of that rectangle is 80 square inches. So I'm just going to write that inside each face of the rectangular prism, just so I know I took care of it. And then let's do the front and the back next. So front and the back is going to be blue. So front and then the back, and I know this is like trippy because it's three-dimensional. It's very hard to draw three-dimensional. So if this is the bottom and the top, the front and the back are going to be these two rectangles right here. And the more you do this, you'll get used to it. So this rectangle right here has a length of 10 inches. But what is this right here? We need to know what that is. And that is actually the height of the rectangular prism. So this is because all of these sides here, 6, 6, 6, okay? So this is 6 inches. So I can label this one as well because I know they're identical. So this rectangle, length is 10, width is 6. So length times width, 10 times 6. Area is 60 square inches. So, oh, that does not look like a 6. 60 square inches, 60 square inches. Okay, and now we need to figure out our sides, which are green. So I'm gonna erase all of this hot mess, because who wants to look at that? So green. Green are these sides right here. And those are the two that fall out from the net. And as you can see on your rectangular prism, the width or length, whatever, is 8. And then this side would be 6. So it's an 8 by 6 rectangle. So I have that labeled actually on here already, 8 times 6. So that one's going to be length times width. So 8 times 6, those are 48 square inches. So 48 and 48. Okay. So now that we know the area of each surface of the rectangular prism looking at the net, you have to add them all up because that's the area of the entire surface of the prism. So we're going to do 60, 60. Oh, that's supposed to be an 80. Woohoo, 80. I'm really losing it, guys. I'm losing it. 48 and 48. So 60 and 60 is 120. 80 and 80, 160. 48 and 48 is 96. You can all add them up all individually. It's however you want to do it. So 96 plus 160 plus 120, 376 square inches. I'm hoping I added that right, but probably. Okay, so that right there, 376 square inches is the surface area, or the area of all of the surfaces. And that's your answer. Okay, I'm going to show you one more example. So we're going to do the same kind of thing. So let's start with the bottom and the top. So we have the bottom and the top. So I always like to think of the bottom as this one right here. And then this is the top. And those are going to be identical. So if I'm looking at the bottom, I know the length is 15 inches. And the width is 8 inches. So it's a 15 by 8 inch rectangle. So length times width, 15 times 8 is 120 square inches. If you want to label this one, go for it. You don't have to because you already know the area now. It matches the bottom, which is 120 square inches. Okay. So now let's erase that. Let's think about the front, which was blue. So if I look at the front and the back, these two sides right here, I know they're identical. That's going to be these two right here. So the front length is 15 and the width is 6 inches. So 15 times 6, because area is length times width, area is 15 times 6. 15 times 6 is 90. So these are 90 square inches. And the last two to figure out are going to be our sides, which are green. Okay, so we know that if I look at this right here, this side length I already know is 8. So this is 8 inches. I just need to figure out this side length right here. So this is labeled 8 on our side. So I need to figure out this side length right here. You need to use your rectangle rules. I know that this side is identical to that side of the rectangle. So since this is 6 inches over here, this has to be 6 inches. This has to be 6 inches. Okay, because opposite sides in a rectangle are equal. So this is an 8 by 6 inch rectangle. So 8 times 6 is 48 square inches, and I know this each side is identical. So there's all my areas. So we're not done. We have to find our surface area. So I have 90, 90, 120, 120, 48, and 48. Going to add all of those up. 90 plus 90 plus 120 plus 120 plus 48 plus 48, and you should get 516. So the surface area of this rectangular prism is 516 square inches. Okay, so the easiest way to do it is think of the front, think of the back, think of the bottom, the top. You know that the opposite sides are equal. So I would like you to sketch this example in your notebooks, and I want you to try to figure out the surface area on your own. Pause the video, and then when you come back, I will show you the answer. So pause now, please. You better have paused. I'm going to give you the evil glare if you didn't. Obviously, I'll never know, but I'm still giving you an evil glare. So here's my work for this problem. The top and bottom I got 182. The front and the back I got 130, and the two sides I got 140. So when I added all of them together, I got 904 square inches. Okay. So for the practice today, it is on Google Slides. There is directions of the easiest way to do it. So check out the directions before you attempt it. Okay. Please let me know if you have